Rotary's operating costs are divided into three categories. The first are expenses that directly support members. This accounts for 58% of RI dues and includes things like training, district leadership funding, and assisting clubs and districts daily. Then there are expenses that support Rotary's public image. This accounts for 20% of RI dues. It includes member access to branding assets, tools, and communications that increase awareness of Rotary and help clubs tell their stories locally. Finally, there are expenses that cover necessary administration costs and compliance obligations, such as office rent, technology maintenance and investment, and legal support. This accounts for 22% of RI dues. While we develop a balanced budget for the coming year, we also create a 5-year forecast. Doing so allows us to project what our financial future may look like based on what we know now. This ensures that the financial decisions we make today support our financial strength and future growth.
The key assumptions in the 5-year forecast are membership levels, membership dues, the investment earn rate, and the inflation rate. In my mind, though, the most important assumptions are the ones around membership. The 2022 council legislation set RI membership dues for Rotary year 2026. So it's the 2022 membership level that we use as a benchmark. As an organization, we've gotten good at forecasting membership trends over the years, and unfortunately, we're forecasting fewer members this year and next year. The implication of increasing membership is that our revenues are declining as well. Additionally, the recent levels of inflation, our expenses are also increasing. So we made some tough decisions to reduce costs and develop a balanced budget. Membership has grown over the years, but too many members have left the organization to see any real gains. That's why we shifted our focus from solely growing Rotary and increasing our membership to finding ways to keep current members engaged and connected. We know that when members feel a strong sense of belonging and are presented with meaningful opportunities to serve the communities, they're more likely to stay in Rotary. The longer they stay, the stronger our organization.
Here you see projections for Rotary's financial picture over the next 5 years. Rotary year 2023 is the base year, and assumptions are applied to future years. Looking at the chart on the left, the green bars show revenues higher than expenses. The red bars show expenses higher than revenues. We are projecting a balanced budget in fiscal year 24, surpluses in fiscal years 25 and 26, a near balanced budget in fiscal year 27, and a deficit in fiscal year 28. It's important to note that in the 5-year forecast, there's no membership dues increase assumed for fiscal years 27 and 28, as that will be determined by the 2025 Council on Legislation. I also want to point out that in fiscal years 23 and 24, they reflect the board's decisions to use reserves to fund strategic initiatives, including regionalization and polio eradication efforts. When we look at the graph on the right, the orange bars represent the forecasted reserve levels, while the red data points reflect the board reserve target. You can see that the forecasted reserve levels are above the reserve targets in every year. This is important in ensuring that Rotary has assets set aside for unexpected circumstances. We are projecting sufficient funds to meet the board target through 2028. Our bylaws require a balanced budget each year, and to do so, we will continue to prioritize our spending and focus on growing our revenues.
To highlight a few priorities for the coming year, we will continue to invest in technology that will enhance the membership experience online. You can expect to see exciting upgrades to My Rotary and Rotary.org in the coming year. We're also supporting innovative and flexible club models to bring even more people into Rotary, particularly those who are looking to connect with us in less traditional ways. We're helping clubs provide a memorable and valuable experience to engage current and future members. We're establishing new partnerships with global organizations that will help us expand our reach. And of course, there's our continued dedication to eradicating polio. We won't stop until every child is protected from this disease.
If you're interested in more information on Rotary's finances, we publish our annual report and audited financial statements on Rotary.org. On behalf of Drew and myself, we'd like to offer our special thanks to you, our members, for your attention and continued dedication to doing good in the world.
Thanks to my fellow Director Drew Kessler and Chief Financial Officer Julie Bird for breaking down the complex accounts of Rotary International. Actually, Rotary International and the Foundation, they do publish their financial report every year. But it can be very daunting to understand, and that includes me, because of the complexity of the accounts. How many of you, before watching this video, knows how many officers does Rotary International operate, and how many bank accounts and how many currency do we operate? So it's actually a very, very complex accounting system. So it also gives you an idea why, or explain why few international RI dues increases are made known to you way ahead because of the 5-year planning. They have to make projection and take into account of what are the incomes going forward. So you can see, from today, we are talking about 2023. They are already planning all the way to the financial year 2028. And also, Director or Treasurer Drew mentioned about the provision of a certain amount of money to upgrade the Rotary.org going forward just to make it what we call, because of new initiatives coming out, like the 3-year rolling plans and things like that. At the moment, the system is not capable of providing that. And going forward, they are looking at how to enhance the system. So that we have to provide the fund for it. And since all of you are so good to be staying here, I will give you a little bit of bonus. How about that? Besides showing the past financial account, Rotary International has just released the financial account unaudited up to October 2023. So it just came out, so I just take a snapshot of the reports. I would like to show you what are they. There you are. So up to October 2023, you see that on the revenue side, we are 1.6 million favorable against the budget. On the left column, you talk about the budget. On the right, the center column, you talk about the actual. So for revenue, we are 1.6 million favorable. Just in case you ask me what is PSA, the PSA revenue actually has no impact on our financial because it's the income donated, the services donated by magazines, billboard, TVs, or whatever. They provide free advertisement for Rotary International and Rotary Foundation. So, but then, according to the accounting regulations, they must book in as income. And then on the other side, they take it out as the expense. So there is no, I also had to find out what PSA meant before I came here. So, but you look at the expenses, we are actually down or unfavorable by 0.3 million. So this is the breakdown of what are they. The dues are the main income for Rotary International. Investment income, you find that we are not doing that well because of the investment climate. So, but being an investor and fund manager myself, as long as we stay invested in the long run, usually Rotary, they outperform. The Rotary Foundations, they outperform the market. Okay, and this is just a graph. Very quickly, this is where you take me to. You look at the convention registration. By the way, the convention account is not part of the Rotary International account, meaning that if you lose in the, make a loss in the convention, you can take from the Rotary International. No, Rotary International convention has a reserve account. So with this graph, I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep because we projected 25,000 registrations for Singapore Convention. But as of October, there was only 7,514. So, come on. What are you sitting there for? Ask all your friends to come and save me. To boost up the registration. Serious. So because we projected a 25,000 registrations, and then now we are only 30% of budget. So we need a lot of help. I will follow up with a presentation later on the convention. So these are the expenses. So highlights, deals are lower than budget by 0.1 million as of October. Net investment earnings are below budget by 0.9 million as explained by because of the investment climate. And services and other revenues are unfavorable to budget by 0.2 due to the timing of royalty revenue. Okay, so these are expenses. These have some saving on the IT expenses, travel expenses, and marketing. Other than that, overall, these services and other expenses favorable by 0.3 million. Okay. I've shown you all this. This is the one that you saw with the presentation earlier with the video, but this is for up to October. Okay, fast forward. Right. Next, I'm going to just, since I'm up here, and there's an advantage of being a convener and the HOC chair for a convention, I'm going to just take this time to do some promotion. Here you are. As all of you know by now, that the Singapore Convention will be held over last weekend of May, 25th to 29 May. So this is the second time that Singapore will be hosting the convention, the last being in 1999, where we sort of attracted about 16,000. So here, just now you look at the forecast, we are way behind. So I'm appealing to everyone here to join me in this journey of imagining Singapore 2024. I need all your help to bring more of your family and friends and Rotarians to Singapore. Nope. Yep. Many of you already know Singapore is a melting pot of culture, a multicultural city where people meet from all walks of life. Being in Singapore, you will be able to be visiting a city garden. We used to be known as the Garden City, but Singapore has been transformed to a garden, city in the garden. City in the garden. It's no longer a city garden. Okay, it's a city in the garden. So you'll be surrounded by greenery and arts. And more importantly, you'll be experiencing new and refreshed offering. So, in the recent years, actually, Singapore took the opportunity to refresh and build new attractions. So some of the latest attractions is the newly opened Bird Paradise, where there are more than 3,500 birds in the aviary, and it's the Asia's biggest bird park. And if you like speed, like me, you can go to the hyperdrive at the Sentosa, where you can have a 3-story high go-kart ring. So if you like history, arts, and culture, Singapore actually has got plenty of this to offer to you, for you to immerse in our rich culture and collections. So I strongly recommend that you visit the National Gallery. Those of you who have been to it, you will know what the National Gallery. It's a collection of history of Singapore, and also you should visit our National Museum. Yes, and Singapore is a hotbed for startups, where many entrepreneurs want to be, like to showcase their brand. Can have starting as a gin tonic, a gin factory, or even the ice cream or chocolate, where the entrepreneurs like to show off to you. So there are the rich offering of this in Singapore. And then often I heard hotels in Singapore are very expensive. I hear that all the time. So, but don't let this deter you from registering for the convention in 2024. On this slide, I can show you there are so many other options, and all within a short distance from the venue. Do you really need to stay within 100 meters of the convention center? No. Singapore is so small, it's so compact, and is well served by our efficient transport system. If you have to drive, you drive more than 30 minutes, you either end up in Malaysia or you end up in the sea. That is how small Singapore is. So you don't worry about the distance. I'm not asking you to even stay in the Johor, Malaysia. Just stay in Singapore. There are plenty of hotels, boutique hotels to offer to you. So there are more than 400 hotels in Singapore. And today, we have more than 70,000 rooms compared to about 16,000 rooms in 1999. And of course, there are more hotels coming our way. Some already open, like the Artisan Singapore, already opened in December. The Edition hotels open also in December, but of course, some of the hotels are early next year. But having said that, you at this moment, if you have enough choices of hotel accommodations. So those who have fed back to me that you're not getting hotel rooms, so that's preventing you from the registering, is not true. I offer myself to you. If you have hotel problem, write to me personally, and I'll solve it for you. How about that? It's my personal commitment to you to encourage you to register for Singapore Convention. So, like Taiwan, Singapore is an all-year-round destination. And Singapore is the gateway to many ASEAN countries. Within, even Rotarians from India here, within 7 hours flight radius, you have access to countries where 4 billion people stay. And within 3 hours flight radius, you can go to Bali, Phuket, anywhere in Southeast Asia. Even Hong Kong is just how many hours away? So you should come, Hong Kong. Thailand, where are you? Yeah, you should come. Direct flight. And for Taiwan alone, there are 56 direct flights to Singapore. Actually, today or tomorrow, those in Kaohsiung, you will be able to fly to Singapore directly tomorrow. So please, those local Rotarians here, I want you to come to Singapore. You have no reason not to come to Singapore because there is a direct flight. Please. And then, of course, if you want to hop to Hong Kong before you come to Singapore, do so. And for the Malaysian, there is no reason for you not to come to Singapore. You can walk. As Trustee Aziz said, you can walk to Singapore. So I want higher registration for Malaysia. Don't give me the excuse of the currency conversion now. Just come. We'll house you. Don't worry. So Malaysian, please come. Okay? So right. If you want more information about Singapore, do click this QR code. You'll find a lot more information. There are even free tours around Singapore that's offered by STB. Thanks to our STB colleagues here. They are here to support us. Xavier, Ferhan, please show them that you are here and then they can approach you. Come on. Our Singapore Tourism Board, they send their staff here to support you. So they actually set up the booth there, and if you want, please go and get registered for the 2024 convention. So with that, can I expect you to bring all your friends to Singapore? Yeah. How many? Every one of you must bring at least 20. I knew. Last night I went to every table and I got a commitment that you are coming. And I said that photograph was served as evidence that you promised to bring 20 other members to Singapore next year. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chu.
再次掌声，谢谢 Mr. Ju。Next, we are very pleased to have Ms. Kiki Menonidis, Senior Specialist, International Service of RI's Service and Engagement. She's going to share with us about International Service Network. Let's welcome Ms. Kiki Menonidis with warm applause.
我们热烈掌声欢迎。
Good afternoon. Oh my, the view is really wonderful from here. I'm happy to be here with you today. It's my pleasure being in Kaohsiung, participating in zones 1B, 9, and 10's Institute, and being with you today. Thank you to Trustee-elect Mark Maloney, President Gordon McAnally, esteemed directors and trustees and zone leaders for the honor of speaking to you today during the Institute program. I thought I was going to be speaking in one of the smaller rooms as of an hour ago, so it is truly a thrill to be here in front of you. I am Kiki Melanides, a member of Rotary's Service and Engagement Team, which is part of the Programs and Grants area. I think many of you might know my colleague, Shamay, who's a Regional Grants Officer. She's part of the Grants team, and we're both based out of Evanston at Rotary headquarters. Although the grants team is officially under the Rotary Foundation and Service and Grants is under programs under Rotary International, we work closely together as one Rotary to support our members. I'd like to thank our boards, directors, and trustees for their wisdom and guidance on this policy. I'm also pleased to be here with additional RI staff from Evanston, Ting, from the CDS team, and international office staff, Mary Jane and Wantana, as well as TRF staff, Hazel and Gretchen. I manage international service, and international service is one of the 5 avenues of service. I've been at Rotary for 15 years, And I've stayed because I feel privileged to be able to work for you and to help you make real positive change in the communities across the globe. I serve as Rotary's main support for the 428 District International Service Committee chairs. I work with them to ensure that our clubs, that means members like you, have the resources that you need to participate in international service projects and activities. The full scope of international service, in addition to global grants, that means projects, service grants, and service and networking programs. Oh. Okay. The service and engagement team's work is at the heart of keeping members engaged in all service activities. We support developing better projects, providing resources for enhanced service through international, vocational, and community committee chairs, through Rotary Community Corps and experts from Rotary Action Groups. We also support important networking activities. I'm sure you're familiar with fellowships, friendship exchanges, and project fairs. Inter-country committees that promote peace and relationships between two countries. That's especially important during these times in the world, and Twin Cities. We also have strong relationships with service and project partners that expand our reach in communities. And this is just a snapshot of the Rotary Service and Engagement portfolio. Next, I'll share why I'm emphasizing service activities. We surveyed members last year to learn more about the programs they participate in. 75% of clubs did not participate in global grants last year because they wanted to focus on other service projects that are important to them. 19% participated in global grants. And of course, we want to increase participation in global grants, but we really want to support our members in the activities that they engage in every day in their clubs. District International Service Chairs, DISCs as we call them, should be your point of contact for help with all types of these projects, including finding partners. They're part of the network of other international chairs worldwide, and they can help you find partners around the world. They work collaboratively with district governors and with the foundation team. I hope that you have turned to your international service chairs for assistance for resources in your projects. And if you haven't, we encourage you to do so. It's important now to highlight our organization's greatest asset. That's you, our members. Over 1.4 million strong. Do you know that you have access to world-renowned consulting firms with some of the best experts to contribute their skills and expertise to improve projects? These impressive experts are very close to you. They're in your clubs. They're here with us today. In this meeting room, in fact, you are these experts that we are referring to. You have the valuable expertise and skills that can improve our projects. Another key element of my support to international service committees includes helping to build these district resource networks, what we call Rotary Consulting, Inc. Rather than spending millions of dollars on consulting firms, we can get the help directly from our members, community members, and partners to mentor our clubs and develop stronger projects. Think how costly it would be if we actually were to use the consulting services from top international firms for this. We instead can leverage our own member experience in project planning, grants, in Rotary's area of focus. Okay. Another important part of the committee's responsibility is to manage their network by closely working with district leaders and clubs to identify and recruit mentors to build this resource base. You see here who's typically involved in the district resource network. They are Rotary members and Rotaractors with project and grant experience, Rotary Action Group members, and cadre of technical advisors, two of Rotary's best project planning resources, and they have the professional expertise in the areas of focus to take the projects to the next level. Fellowships that are vocationally oriented, Rotary alumni such as Global Grant Scholars, Peace Fellows, non-Rotarian experts, Rotary Community Corps, ICCs, local business and community organizations. If you have experience and technical skills, reach out to your district leader and offer to mentor your clubs. At this point, I'd like to play a video on district resource networks, and we can hear directly from members on what they think about this great resource.
District resource networks are committees of people with expertise in particular areas.
They can have non-Rotarians participate with them. Welcome is another fact.
We partner with churches, government officials, contractors, the people who can bring their talents to fix something that needs to be fixed.
It's the power of Rotary to have this network
that can help clubs create better grants and larger, more sustainable projects.
The district resource networks
are like a consulting firm, but instead of spending millions, we can get help from Rotary members and friends, such as Rotary Action Groups and the cadre of technical advisors.
The ability to tap into the talents from all over the district is a really important thing.
These are also our potential members as well. Once they get involved, they will find interest. They will join Rotary one day.
Great, you heard directly from members on the value of Rotary Consulting, Inc. Next, I want to share details on a project that was directly impacted by the expertise of the District Resource Network. I'll share details on how 17 clubs in Italy partnered with mentors to design and implement the Remote Heart Project to save chronic cardiology patients' lives. The clubs relied on their international service chair and the mentors of their network. They joined forces to address a serious community need. It led to a better project where the alliance with the public sector and Rotary Innovation made a sustainable impact. In 2020, the Romagna region of Italy was one of the most hard hit by COVID-19. The government implemented one of the strictest lockdown protocols to contain the virus. The challenge that they faced was how would they be able to monitor these chronic cardiology patients with additional health issues without requiring in-person appointments at high-risk environments like hospitals and specialty centers, which were already stressed with the high patient demand. The vulnerable patients were in urgent need of regular health status checks and monitoring of heart-implanted devices. It was literally a matter of life and death. So how did they do it? International Service Chair Paolo Pacini and members of the Rotary Club of Rimini led the charge, bringing together 17 clubs in the Romagna region and one club from Argentina to work with healthcare, government, and community experts to address the lack of assistance for these chronic patients. First, they conducted a community needs assessment. They met with the public health agency, technicians, doctors, nurses, managers of health services to plan the project and to set the goals. Just another example of why the community assessment is so important in all projects, regardless if they're funded by the foundation. They determined that monitoring a single patient via telemedicine was the most effective and efficient solution. The experts of the network continued consulting on the project to ensure continuity and quality of care. A key component, and it's something that the community could not do on its own, was securing the support and expertise of the local public health agency that developed the necessary IT infrastructure. The project successfully monitored 800 patients in real time to ensure their vital signs were stable and having the certainty that the heart devices were working. The Remote Heart Project was particularly effective in assisting chronic patients who would not have been able to access service. This was a wonderful example of clubs working together and relying on the expertise and guidance of their network. 17 doctors were involved, 23 nurses. It produced a new software to allow the different heart machines, devices to communicate with the monitoring computers, with an easy-to-read dashboard to determine the patient's ongoing health status at all times. The Global Grant received funding by the Rotary Foundation for $89,000 US, with additional funding from public agencies and clinics. So why is using our own valuable member or partner resources so important? By leveraging our network of mentors, we will be able to develop stronger projects. And I've heard our General Secretary, John Hugo, speak specifically about how one of our underlying pillars of our service projects, our global grants, and our programs of scale incentivize clubs and districts to get together and develop projects that have greater impact and sustainability, which will provide greater visibility to our organization. In 2013, we embarked on a new global grant model because we wanted to develop larger, impactful, sustainable projects. But we also recognize that our members are volunteers and not necessarily experts in a certain area of focus. So we faced the challenge of how do we get those necessary resources to support our members while supporting stronger projects. For a long time, the incredible knowledge within Rotary that could help clubs create these bigger and better projects were not attainable. And we addressed this gap in 2016 when we designated a district leader to manage and connect the clubs directly to these resources, and that's the District International Service Chair. So why the priority on developing, in fact, impactful projects? When clubs are seeking to design a project, let's say, for instance, a water project or a literacy program, they can direct their clubs directly to someone appropriate who has the knowledge and the background. So it's important for us to develop these projects for a number of reasons, right? First, we want to gain the greatest return on our investment so we can become better at solving a single problem and direct our efforts instead of undertaking many projects with an unscattered approach. And when we implement these projects that are more impactful, it helps us improve our image in the community, which results in a better public image. So it makes it easier to attract even more members, and that's critical to the survival of Rotary or even any member organization. So in addition, as we're developing better global grants and projects, it gives us a greater pool of donors that can contribute to the Rotary Foundation, allowing us to implement even more projects and expanding our funding circle even more. In addition, other than polio, which is our flagship initiative, we don't have another significant project that an outside entity wants to sponsor. So by successfully implementing these higher quality, stronger projects, we are working toward developing larger scale programs, making us more attractive to donors and outside partners. So I just highlighted why establishing district resource networks to help our clubs develop stronger projects is of significant importance to our organization, and they all tie into Rotary's action plan. So district resource networks support all four of Rotary's strategic priorities. One, increasing our impact. Having mentors work with clubs, they're helping design sustainable, more impactful projects. Expanding our reach, which means we're providing members with more or new opportunities for participation. And if our members feel connected to their club, they're more likely to stay as members. Enhancing participant engagement. In the video, you heard directly from Pauline Lung of Taiwan. She mentioned that it's an important engagement tool. And increasing our ability to adapt. So district resource networks don't have to be limited to just in your own district. You could take a regional approach and you can combine all the resources in a zone and really look at your projects holistically. I just held an international service workshop in Evanston for zones 25B and 29. That's the local zone near Chicago and Illinois. And they're working as a zone to develop their resource network and to really look at the types of expertise they have within their region and to focus on helping clubs in the entire zone. I'm really excited. We're having our first follow-up meeting in January to really talk about moving in this zone approach. So lastly, I'd like to encourage you to take advantage of all the service and networking activities and programs that I highlighted and the ones that my team directly supports. When you return to your clubs, I hope the first thing that you do is to reach out to your international service chair and your DG teams and your foundation team to find out if you have a resource network of experts to help you with projects. If you don't have a network, work with your district international service chair or district leaders to build one. And even better, if you have the expertise and the technical skills, volunteer to serve as a mentor to clubs to help them with their projects. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. If you have any questions, I have our inbox email on the screen. It's rotary.service@rotary.org. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Institute experience and your time in Kaohsiung. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Menonaides.
再次掌声，谢谢。Next, a few announcements by PDG Supla Wu, District 3470, Vice Secretary of the 2023 Kaohsiung Rotary Institute. PDG Supla, please come on stage.
掌声欢迎。
Hello. Let's talk about tomorrow first. There will be an open forum tomorrow morning on 9:45. By then, if you want to raise the topics, please line up on site and be limited to one question each person who is appointed. And there will be the handover of the Zone Institute flag tomorrow on 11:30 to the convener next year. Please be there to encourage them for the coming event. And the following acknowledgement, please allow me to speak in Mandarin first. 因为银行的作业关系，以下有些捐款。8月24号D3482 PDG Skin 捐赠新台币5万元。9月6号D3490地区 PDG Andy 5万元。9月27号3470地区 PDG Former 5万元。10月2号高雄地带5万元。10月17号3490地区 PDG Also 5万元。因为银行通知我们太晚了哈，所以来不及印在手册的感谢栏目。特别在这边做一个通告，很抱歉，也非常感谢你们的支持。Due to the Institute would like to acknowledge the following donations, which are not shown on the page 93 in the handbook, due to the late information by the bank. After the handbook has been printed, on August 26th, there's the District 3482 PDG Skin for NTD 50,000. September 6th, 3490 PDG ND for 50,000, and September 27th, 3470 PDG Former 50,000. October 2nd, Kaohsiung Zone 56,000. October 17th, 3490 PDG also 50,000. Sorry for the missing print, and much appreciation to your generous contributions. Okay, so do you enjoy today's program? Yes, but today is not ended yet. For the following program, we encourage you to dress in your national or traditional clothes for the International Cultural Fellowship Night. This evening on 6:30 here, there will be performance of Rotarians from Hong Kong, Philippines, Bangladesh, and Taiwan. Do you have any performance group here? Can you raise your hand? If you are here, please be noticed that you can use the Jinfu and the Jinlan rooms in this floor for dressing and preparations. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, PDG Supla。我们再次欢迎，再次热烈掌声，谢谢。
Okay. Lastly, we would like to invite our Director Jimbo Ju again to come on stage to deliver the closing remarks. Please, Mr. Ju.
It is my final duty of the day. So I'm going to declare the plenary session closed for today. Thank you. See you at 6:30 tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ju.
Ladies and gentlemen, the third plenary session has successfully come to the end. A friendly reminder, the International Cultural Fellowship Night will start at 6:30 p.m. See you tonight.